Hi, Rich Lucas from Rich Lucas Personal Training. What we're going to talk about today is how to build muscle. This is a fitness goal of many people, particularly men. They do want to achieve this bigger look. They want to increase muscle mass, get the ripped look, looks good on the beach, etc. So I'm going to give you 10 points today on how you can build muscle. I mean, these are a guideline. I mean, what I'll say to you is I can't accept responsibility unless you're a client of mine. You do this sort of thing at your own risk. But I mean, putting these 10 points into play can really help. Also, don't forget to consult a doctor. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about why people maybe don't gain muscle. I mean, a lot of guys you see in any gym they go into, they sort of walk in and they load a bar up and they crank the weights out, and they don't really give much thought between program design, muscle balance, or even health and safety in a lot of cases. So it is important that you get the exercises right. So the 10 points are this. The first one you need to do is sort your diet out. In my opinion, the right diet can account for up to 80% of success in muscle building programs. Understand your food groups. There's fruit and vegetables, low glycemic index carbohydrates like brown bread, pasta, rice, wholemeal, meats, fish, dairy, fats and oils, and sugary snacks. Now, to build muscle, you're going to need to take in between 1.6 and 1.8 kilograms of protein per kilogram of body weight every day. So I mean, you could even go up to 2 kilograms to give yourself that extra. So if you're an 80 kilogram person, you need to be taking in between 140 and 160 grams of protein in a day. So therefore, maybe some protein powders would be necessary. You get protein from meat, fish, eggs and dairy, but it's also found in lesser quantities in low GI carbohydrate foods. Eat little and often. Combine a portion of carbohydrate, portion of protein and a vegetable portion with each meal. I'd say try to eat between 5 and 6 times a day. Breakfast, mid-morning, lunch, mid-afternoon, tea time and then a little bit later on. Point number 2 is get on the water. I mean, a lot of people don't drink enough water. I mean, everyone knows you should drink 8 glasses a day. I would say have a 2-litre bottle of water and make sure you get through that. This is when you just sat there not doing anything. If you're training, you need to be drinking more again. Personally, I have a 2-litre bottle of water every single day, and then if I could train, I'd take another 1.5 litre bottle of water, and I'll sort of chug through that as well. So get on the water. So sorting your diet out and getting on the water. The next thing, and I'm sorry to say this, but you're going to have to sack off the booze. The booze is going to have to go. I mean, the main thing is with alcohol is it's got a potentially catabolic effect on your muscle gain. So it can shrink muscle, it can rob your body of the vitamins and minerals that it needs to grow muscle. And it doesn't even take into account the excess fat you put on. I mean, a pint of premium lager can be up to 200 calories. Now, if you have 5 pints, I mean, I'm no good at maths. You can add it all up, and it can be quite a lot. You could end up drinking your daily calorie intake. So, if you're serious about muscle building, can the cans. Sorry, lads. Point number 4 is get on the weights. Press-ups are all good, but really speaking, to get that overload and to get the weights really going, get the muscle on, you do need to lift weights. It's possible to do body weight exercises such as press-ups, free squats to shape up, but you do a lot of repetitions, so you'll tend to get leaner rather than getting bigger. And plus you have to be quite creative to get that overload. So get on the weights. My advice would either get to a local gym, give me a call, I can help you out with it as well, or get one of your gym instructors. I really don't mind who you get to do it, but make sure you're taught proper technique, because you can do a good weights exercise, do it completely wrong and not work the right muscle groups. You can flare your elbows out and it just doesn't work. So to learn proper technique, design your program or have your program designed for you so you work each major muscle group about 2 to 3 times a week. Bear in mind, larger muscles like your quadriceps, your pectorals will take longer to recover. Point number 5 is lift free. Now, you go into any gym, any single gym, they've got lots and lots of free weights machines. Sorry, not free weights, they've got lots of weight machines where you sort of sit on there and push out. the thing is this, you're not really sure how good or how effective they are, and you can sit on the weight machine and push out. You're not working the antagonist and the agonist muscles, for example. So I would always recommend that you lift free. Dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells. I'm not saying machines are useless, it's just exercising with free weights. It strengthens your stabilizing muscle, your fixator muscle, all the little tiny muscles that you don't know about, and it just gets you a lot more tighter. In my opinion, it's good for flexibility, and also, again, in my opinion only, it's better for definition as long as proper lifting is observed. Keep your repetitions between 6 and 12. So pick a weight that you can lift between 6 and 12 times with good form, so you're failing at the last rep. So a lot of people stick between 8 and 10. So by the time they're doing an 8, they're really struggling, their muscles burn, and you get that lactic acid, and that's what we want. So you lift it with good form until your muscles fail. Number 6 is stimulate the CNS. Now the CNS is a central nervous system. There's tons of wild and wacky ways that you can do the exercises, but I always say stick to the basics. Your bench pressing, your deadlifting, and your squat. So these are compound, that is multi-joint exercises, and it puts more stress on the muscles, particularly the deadlift and squat. I mean, the exercises stimulate the central nervous system, sends a message out to the entire body saying, we're under stress, grow. Particularly the squat, you've got all the weight bearing down on your legs as you push up, and it's quite widely acknowledged that the squat, for example, has an overall body effect in regards to muscle building. Number 7 is apply overload. So in every exercise you do, you've got to look to increase the weight every 3 to 4 weeks, so you're consistently placing your body under a little bit more stress to force it to adapt. If you don't apply the overload, it's a big reason why lots of muscle builders fail in their quest. Therefore, it's essential that you diarise your training and measure consistently. I mean, to be absolutely honest, again, plugging myself, that's why a lot of people employ me from the point of view that I do apply overload every single time. Every time they want to lift a weight, I always put a little bit more on, so you gain that little bit more every single week. Number 8 is don't forget your cardio. So you need to do cardiovascular. I know a lot of strength trainers, a lot of muscle builders will say, I've cut my cardio down to nothing, I don't do anything. But in order to get your muscles to show, like your six-pack, your delts, your pecs, your biceps, you've all got to do a little bit of cardio. Because we've got these muscles, it's just covered in a layer of fat, we've all got them. You're going to need to do a little bit of maybe running, cycling, or on a cross-shape trainer. There's many different forms, and for muscle building you want to be doing between 20 and 30 minutes. Any more is going to start shrinking a little bit. I'd say for 20 minutes you can get a really good interval session going. So getting on the treadmill, sprinting for 2 minutes, jogging for 30 seconds, running for a minute. Interval training where you're constantly up in it. It's anaerobic work rather than aerobic work, and you can do less of it, and it also is very good for fat building. If you want to do it at lower intensity, you're going to have to carry on a bit longer, say about 30 minutes. Again, same thing, apply overload. You have to apply overload. Number 9 is get enough sleep. Now think about babies. Babies get lots of sleep because they're growing. Now just like them, you're growing. If you're doing weight training, you're eating correctly, you're eating lots of calories, lots of protein, you're lifting your weights. You are going to need to grow. Now to grow you need to get sleep. I mean, a friend of mine is a good strength trainer. He swears by 9 or 10 hours a night. I'd say maybe between 8 and 10 hours, but you do need to get a good sleep in order to be really effective in muscle building. It's quite challenging, but if you get those early nights, then it means that your body will have time to repair itself. Now, number 10, and this is really, really important, do not neglect rest. So believe me when I say that more is not always better. It really isn't. If you overtrain, you run the risk of insomnia, loss of concentration, cold-like symptoms, and even muscle shrinkage, believe it or not. So when you train, muscle fibers are damaged through microtrauma, the stress of the training. When you rest, the microfibers repair themselves and grow back bigger. So if you keep wrecking them, they ain't going to grow. They're not going to get bigger. They're not going to get more defined. So rest is so important. So train each body part 2-3 times a week. Do your cardio 3 times a week, and have at least one day you do absolutely nothing. Okay? So the 10 points: sort your diet out. Get on the water, sack off the booze, get on the weights, lift free, stimulate the CNS, apply overload, don't forget your cardio, get enough sleep, do not neglect, rest. Now, if you want to talk more about this, you can get me on email at mail@rl-personaltrainer.co.uk.